Hello again, this is DJ Across for New Eden Radio. Now, I actually recorded this video yesterday, and for some reason the sound is completely and utterly horrible, so I've redone it again. And there is nothing more fun in my life than compressing 8.5 gigabyte movies down to 3 gigabytes and then spending 7 or 8 hours uploading them to YouTube on a 1 megabit upload line, only to have to delete it and do it all over again. It makes my life complete, but such is life. Now, this video, it is the second video in the series, I suppose, if you like, for New Eden Radio listeners to prepare themselves for the multiplayer mod just as soon as it becomes available. Now, in the first video, we pretty much left it here, having just completed one job with 1 kilometre driving experience completed. Now, all we can do at the moment, really, all we can do, as not possible, is to do quick jobs. The only jobs available to us are from Calais to somewhere, because we haven't visited anywhere else yet. So the only possible routes we can do are from Calais to somewhere. If we went from Calais to Paris, then we could do Paris as a exit destination, I suppose, as a point of origin. The more cities we visit, the more becomes available to us and the more cash we make. Now, let's go and make some cash. We can go from Calais to, let's do Calais to London, if only because it's a nice, simple, straightforward route. So let's take this job. Okay, you'll probably hear my kittens in the background squeaking. Right, okay, read through that later, so really not exciting. So, this is the truck it has given us for this particular run. Nice red Scania. It's a 420. You see there at the front of the grille, R420. Therefore, it's a 420 horsepower Scania. So let's click drive. Now, quick button number 2. A nice sexy look at our beautiful truck. It's a truck. Nothing more exciting than that. But yeah, that's us. That's the truck. So button 1. For driving cab position. Again, I was going to zoom in on that. No. Little DVD player there, circa 1980s by the look of it. Right, there's our cab, all nice and sweet. Let's fire up the truck using the start or the engine start button, or W for forward, and drive to the exit of here. Indicate right and stop. See if anything's coming. Clear that side. Okay, we need to go this way. Oops, and the trailer on the gate post at the back. Remember, we're a 40-metre long truck, so we don't want to be dragging our arse all over the road, hitting things. Okay, here we are. Euro Truck Simulator 2, departing Calais for London. Now, the point of this particular video, because I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the YouTube videos which are out there, and there's hundreds. The point of this video is for those listeners of New Eden Radio who would like to take part with DJing Across on Sundays with a convoy, whereby we all meet up in the multiplayer mod at a certain city and all drive together in a nice long convoy to somewhere else. It passes the time and gets us all together. It's quite sweet. Now, obviously, we will be listening to New Eden Radio during the convoy, and while I DJ, or other DJs speak as well. It's obviously not just me on the radio. So if you go to the New Eden Radio website, there is a description there as to how to add New Eden Radio into the in-game radio list. Although at the moment we are waiting for SCS Software to add us to the official stream list. We have written to them and asked, and apparently it is on its way, as in being added. Now, we just got a new email. If you see on the bottom right hand side of the screen, the envelope icon has now turned, whoops, doing too many things at once. The envelope icon has now turned bright yellow. Basically, because I've done this before, if you were to pause the game and click on the mail, you would find a nice note from the Scania dealership, or whichever dealership it is nearby, saying hello. It's really not exciting. What we need to do is earn some money so that the bank will give us a loan. Oops, sneaky inside. Oh, and again. And again. Oh, come on, give me a break. And jeez. Right. What we need to do is earn enough money so that the bank will take us seriously as an investment and loan us some money to be able to start trucking with our own truck. That's what we need to happen. So let me move over to the side of the track. Now again, I mentioned this in the video, but if you look down at the bottom right, you can see a 50 in a red and white circle. That is the current speed limit in this area, and currently I'm poodling along at 40 kilometers an hour. I don't really see the point in rushing. It's not a race car sim, it's a truck sim. So okay. See where we're going. Right, approaching Calais. You can see in the distance, very well represented is the, I suppose, the gantries and so on, support stuff. Let's have a look at the back. And I try, anytime I really use the number 2 view, is when I'm parking in a really tight space. But for the most part, I tend to have it off, if only because it kind of ruins the immersion. But anyway, now, one of my friends asked me why this particular game, why not play Battlefield 4 or Counter-Strike Source or one of these sort of games. Well, I do, don't get me wrong, I mean, I do play these games, and I may well put some videos up on YouTube for you. If you'd like them, just ask. That's all you need to do. The reason I don't play them very often, or the reason why I prefer this game lately, is at the end of a long, tiresome day, all you really want to do, what I want to do, is to relax. Now, in the old days, I would... oh, by the way, I'm following you see the green arrows here, so that's what I'm following. In the old days, I would quite happily get home and shoot lots of little kiddies in Counter-Strike or Battlefield, and kind of unwind that way. And I still do at times. It's nice to be able to let loose on the world from the safety of your own home. But I kind of find that the problem with that, press enter now to travel, the problem with that is at the end of it, when you've finished your round of Counter-Strike or Battlefield or whatever other game, Call of Duty, take your pick, is you tend to feel 5 times more stressed out than you began, especially if at the end of the Battlefield map you get killed by some guy glitching the map or something. It drives you nuts. So I found that for me personally, at this particular time in my life, I find it more relaxing, especially before I go to bed, to play a game like this. I use the word game loosely because I suppose you could call it a simulator, which is what they're aiming it at. And to then sit down at the end of the night with a nice cool glass of water in my hand, or of a drink, and basically chill out to this. Now, obviously we're playing the single player version, which is good, and certainly you will need to play the single player like this now for a few runs at least to be able to build up some cash, because currently we've only got 2,364. But yes, playing single player is all well and good, and in some ways it's the only way to do something. If the multiplayer mod has some idiots at a certain point on the map, you may well find you have to revert to single player just to be able to complete a journey, because otherwise they just keep ruining for you. So yes, there are times when single player still has merit, but for the most part, multiplayer is obviously the same game as single player, but it's much more fun. When the point of this game, obviously, is to follow the rules. It may seem strange and kind of counterproductive, but yes, this particular game rewards you if you do things correctly, like not driving the wrong way down the wrong way street, not going through a speed camera, not going through red lights. All these things reward you. Again, not crashing your truck, not totaling it, not damaging it, all are rewards given to you. So this game is therapeutic to a certain extent, in that it kind of pats you on the back for doing things correctly. Now, in multiplayer, it amplifies that by a factor of 8 or more, because not everybody in multiplayer is a good driver. Some people are actually idiots for the sake of it, but that's another story. That's always going to be the case, unfortunately, in life. There's always those people out there that feel that the world owes them something. But yes, if you're driving down the road, doing the best you can not to crash, it's fine, you know, no problem. But in single player, nobody knows that the fact that you've just driven round a really sharp corner without even scratching a drop of paint. But in multiplayer, not only can other people see you, but you can see other people. And it becomes so much more engrossing, I suppose, when it's in multiplayer. Now, as soon as the multiplayer mod becomes available, I will jump on the multiplayer and show you, because just talking about it does not do it justice at all, in the least, in the slightest. You have to see it to believe it. So as soon as multiplayer comes out, the mod for working with Steam, patch 1.12 or 1.11 even, I will very quickly do a video of it for you. But at the moment, I can't do that, because it's not possible. So here we are. Now, currently, we are driving in the UK. You may say, well, on the wrong side of a road. Not for the people of the UK. In the UK, they drive on the left, which is what I'm doing now. Current speed in this particular zone is 64 kilometers an hour. I am poodling along at 65. I'm actually speeding a little bit naughty of me. So ease off the throttle a bit. White Cliffs of Dover down there. It's a nice view. It's almost makes you want to go surfing, really. Right. Have a look up here. Grass and so forth. So, we are now heading towards London from Dover. Estimated arrival time, it tells me down the bottom right, is Monday around about 10 to 4. The distance remaining is 180 kilometres, and it'll take us about 2 hours 54 minutes of game time. Okay, let's carry on this way. It does look nice down there, doesn't it? It's not as I find it's not as two-dimensional as some consoles. Some of the consoles, certainly when they get further away from the player, it looks a bit two-dimensionally wooden, but no, it looks quite nice. So, on the speed. So, carry on down here. Now, the point of doing this, as I say, is to both gain experience and to, in a sense, level your driver up. The more points your driver has, by experience points that is, then the more bonuses he gets for distances. The further he is able to travel, he or she is able to travel, and the more jobs are available to that person. So it really is a case of the more you drive, the more you do, the more you do, the more you drive, the more money you make. It's straightforward. Okay, let's carry on down here. Nice. Let's say it's relaxing. Obviously, you're listening to the sound of my sexy voice, and yeah, it's not that sexy. I get that. If you want sexy, listen to New Eden Radio, which is here, New Eden Radio. Remember, add it. And that way, as you're driving along, sipping your glass of water, slightly chilled with ice, listening to the music and laughing along with the DJ, time passes, and it passes in a pleasant way. And then when you finish this game, as in decide to go to bed, not only do you feel as though you've actually completed something, kind of a little pat on the back, but you've unwound. It's nice, it's relaxing. Whereas with Counter-Strike, the first thing I do, personally, and don't shoot me, because I know this is going to sound horrible, but the first thing I do in Counter-Strike is, what are you doing? Not only are you on the wrong side of a road, but you're, okay. Yeah, what I do in Counter-Strike, the very first thing is turn the voices off, because I do not want, at my stage in life, to be told by some screaming 8-year-old or 12-year-old that I'm utter shh at a particular game, and I should go back to sewing or knitting or whatever it is, just because the aforementioned 8-year-old has managed to get a headshot in. Let me tell you, kiddie, I've been playing Counter-Strike since before you were born, and actually I probably have, but yeah. Now, oh, for God's sake. Oh, come on. Right. Hallelujah. So yes, in Counter-Strike, oops, I tend to turn the... Well, oop, you see that sign? You see the sign get knocked over in the mirror? I tend to turn the voices off because they just irritate me. And at that point I can play the game because I don't need to be told by a bunch of kids. But the point is that I tend to find games like Counter-Strike get me really wound up. Kind of blood pumping, adrenaline pumping, ha ha ha, I'm going to kill all you bastards right now type thing. I don't really always need that. Sometimes I like to play this and just wind down after a long day at work. And this is why games like this, and even, God forbid, train simulators, multiplayer versions, are nice to pass the time and to wind down after a long day at work, or whatever it is you do. So, here we are, 144 kilometres left to go. Currently doing 73 kilometres an hour, accelerating. Does look nice. It's a bit generic after a while. The scenery. What they do is they map a particular building. So for London, for instance, they'll map the skyline, or Paris, they'll map the Eiffel Tower. But then the rest of it is pretty much generic scenery and roads. But you can be forgiven for that. It's still a fairly comprehensive game. I mean, who would have thought that a game driving trucks would attract so many people? It really is a popular game. On the multiplayer mod, which still has not been updated for patch 1.12, yes we know, yada yada yada, typically you will find 2,500 people all on one server all at one time. Now 2,500 people may not sound a lot, but remember, this is a mod for a game that officially has no multiplayer. So these people, all 2,500 of them, have purposely made an effort to go out and download it and basically, to a certain extent, crack the game. If you were a novice, if that's the right term, at the internet, you may not know the multiplayer mod exists. So there could be, theoretically, tens of thousands of people playing this game who don't know there's a multiplayer mod. It's unlikely, but it's possible. So, yeah, for 2,500 people, however many percent that is, I find that quite amazing. And I'm slightly frustrated at this time that I can't show you game footage of that, because they are waiting for this particular game to patch. SCS Software, the manufacturers of this game, have released currently on Steam patch 1.11. Patch 1.12 is due out any day, literally any day, and the mod makers, the multiplayer mod makers, have said that they will bring out the mod for version 1.12 when it is released, but they're not bringing out the version for 1.11 because there's no point, because it is only literally a day or two away. So for now, you just have to sit on your hands and be patient. Don't quote me on this, but I've got a feeling, the back of my brain, because the mod is so well done, that at some point in time they may monetize it. And don't shoot me for that, but I've got a feeling, because at the moment the multiplayer mod is in alpha and not even beta, but I've got a feeling the amount of work they're putting into the multiplayer mod, at some point they may turn around and actually charge you to play it. And you know, I wouldn't blame them for that, as long as they don't make it too expensive, €5 or something. I would quite wholeheartedly support that, actually. I think it would be a good move on their part, provided it is well supported and it runs smoothly and isn't full of bugs and half finished, like most EA games. Right. So, here we are, driving down the road. We've got 94 kilometres left to go. We are now poodling across London. Let's have a look. Have a view for you. Nice schmid. Schmid. Oh, okay. N25, longest ring road in the world. It is a motorway that is in a circle. So yes, you can go round and round and round on it for days on end. There have been stories of some Japanese tourists who were stuck on the M25 for 3 days solid, but I take that with a pinch of salt. It could be true, It may not be true, but obviously these stories exist. But take them with a pinch of salt. Right, let's move forward and drive down the road. Now, I haven't been to the UK for a couple of years. I was originally born there, but I've not been back for a couple of years. I can't remember seeing water towers like that one off in the distance to the right. Certainly the English ones that I know of tend to be a bit more bulky and slightly uglier, to put it bluntly. It's quite a nice water tower. It looks like a golf puck or something. But the ones in England, for the most part, tend to look pretty nasty. Made out of concrete, look like they were done in the 70s. So possibly we do now have water towers like that in the UK. I just cannot remember seeing them any time in my lifetime, but possibly we do have them now. Okay, right, let's move over to this lane. Come on. Notice that the cars, you can kind of tell what the cars are modelled on. I mean, that one there, Range Rover. Okay, let's see if we can play spot the car. Car coming up on the left, that's a Mini. Car on the right, ooh, some generic, looks like a Nissan or something like that. Car on the left, again, Nissan Mazda. That one, that looks like a Golf, or even a Peugeot 307. One on the right, Mini. One on the left is, ooh, BMW 5, 6 years. Obviously, transit van went whizzing past then on the right hand side. So yeah, they have a fairly good representation of the vehicles. It doesn't have to be 100% right, just has to give you a slight taster. Now, ooh, talking of that, just noticed, so it's all nice and sunny. Yeah, make the most of it. It isn't always, this game, nice and sunny. It does rain, and it rains quite heavily in this game. And also, the sun does go in. It goes dark, and you need to use your headlights. And driving down country roads can be quite interesting. I know a Range Rover there. So, we're getting closer and closer now. Currently, we're doing 77 kilometers an hour. Maximum speed limit here is 97 kilometers an hour. I'm in no mood to break the speed limit. It's not that sort of game. It's you know, if you want to drive fast like a lunatic, fine, by all means do so. Just do it in Colin McRae Rally or some other game like that. This is not the game for it. Having said, it did cross my mind. Now, bear with me. It did cross my mind. You've got here, in this particular game, an entire map of Europe, all the roads laid out, done by SCS software. And obviously, currently, we're driving a truck. But in the multiplayer mod, where everyone's driving trucks around Europe, it would not be very difficult at all to change the trucks for cars. And then you could have the biggest multiplayer racetrack in the world for cars. Can you imagine that? Because then, instead of driving trucks around Europe, you could have police cars, and you could have, I don't know, BMWs, convertibles and cars like this, and you could literally race your friends around Europe from city to city, and you could set it against the clock. Not only could you set it against the clock, but you could have other spectators looking at you as you drive down the roads. So could you imagine this particular game done as a kind of cops versus robbers version of this? I think that'd be fairly cool. Not at the same time as the trucks. Don't mix the two up. That's not fair, because the vast majority of truck drivers, like me, want to get from A to B as safely as possible. Not necessarily as fast as possible, as safely as possible. And what they don't want to do is damage the trucks in any way, shape or form. And they don't appreciate people who drive past and try and cause damage to them. So you kind of need the two separate. But I think SCS software, in a way, are missing a trick with this one, and a big one, because they could take all the cars off it, take all the trucks off it, and then put race cars on this, and have the biggest track set up for multiplayer that I know of for a car game, because they've already got all the cities on all the car track already laid out. And if you do get to see the multiplayer mod, you'll see exactly what I mean. So yes, you could actually have the biggest racing car game in the world. And it's already there because they've already done all this coding. And then in the background now, so in the background, in the foreground, you can see London city centre with the Gherkin and that House Tower and so on. Having said that, you can never actually get there. It is a painted picture in the distance. So don't get your hopes up of driving past the tower blocks. If you can see it down here on the bottom right, the mini map, this pretty much is it. So you can see the City of London in the distance, but that's about as far as we get. So we're turning in here because this is where we are due to park it. And yeah, and we go. Bom, 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 bom. Okay. Now, previously I hit enter for the auto park, which we could do, but no, I'm actually going to try and park this thing for you, just so you can see how it's done. I'm not good at this. I'll tell you now, so that you are fully aware that I am crap at parking, but just so you can see how it's done, because as I said before, in multiplayer there is no auto parking. You either park it yourself or not at all. So come on, swing around. Come on, do it. Do a bit of gas. So yes, in multiplayer you have to manually park the truck. There is no no cheat code in multiplayer. If that's the right term. No, why not? Never remember. I always get this bit wrong. Right. Come on. I buggered it. Oh god, it's buggered it. Right, doesn't matter. Take your time, there's no rush. Nobody watching, only you on YouTube, laughing, going, ha ha ha, what bloody idiot, if you've done that. Fine, I know. Right, hold on. Camera always give me a bit of... Going that way, going that way, going that way. No. Am I? Hold on, having a brain fart moment, is that way? There we go. Isn't that pretty, is it? I know some drivers, they like to stick their head out the window. That's fine. You can stick your head out the window if you like. I'm not going to say anything at all. Right, just doing this. Just out of it like that. Come on. Okay, and stop. Now you can see how it's turned green. That means we can now dump it. So press the letter T. And we've delivered. So we've got 234 kilometers delivered. It's taken us 5 hours, not particularly rushing. Fuel consumed, doesn't matter. So, money, we've just earned 3,589, woohoo! And 234 experience, plus 45 experience, which gives us 279. So we've gone from level 0, so we had like 1 point on level 0, all the way around to level 1. And now we need to get 520 experience points to get to level 2. Believe me, oops, pardon, it won't take long to get to that at all. So, we've now gained an experience point. Now, you can add on to these to get various boosts. I'm going to choose long distance because I want to start covering more distance. The more distance I do, it's the easiest way of getting more XP. The more XP I get, the faster I can get more of these points. Therefore, the more XP I get, you get the idea, and the more money I can start to earn. So, I'm going to click long distance, which now gives me extended delivers up to 350 kilometers, so I can now go further. I can now get 5% higher reward for delivery distances longer, and 25 experience bonus on the XP for distances longer than 250. So as you can see, it will quickly add up my experience points, which is what we want. Okay, this is the end of video 2. If you'd like, I can do a video 3 for you, but yes, this is video 2, now ending with DJ Across here on New Eden Radio. I'm going to save this now as end of Calais to London, and that way, if we want to continue, you know exactly where we are. Good. Thank you very much for watching, and talk soon. If you leave any comments on YouTube, anything you want particularly done, any explanation, going through the options perhaps, the controls, the keyboards, audio, anything like this, any other game, got plenty more games to choose from, Firefall, you name a game and I've probably got it, or at least I can get hold of it. So yeah, if you'd like more videos, please just ask. Right, have fun and see you all later.